Welcome to the channel, everyone. This is Dave here. Today we are looking at the yearly forecast for 2026 for all my Leo moons and Leo risings. Now, Leo, you like to be the center stage, and 2026 is definitely going to give you some moments in the spotlight. But before we get into the month by month shifts, we need to look at the birth chart of the year on January 1st, because that sets the vibration for everything that follows. We will look at the overall energy, then deep dive into the major planetary shifts that are going to define your year. The year starts with a massive conjunction. We have a powerful stellium in your fifth house, involving Mercury, Venus, Sun, and Mars. For a Leo native, the fifth house is your home turf. It's the house of creativity, romance, and self expression. This alignment is actually creating three distinct high voltage yogas for you. First yoga is the Dharma Karma Adhipati Yoga, which is formed by your Lagna Lord, the Sun, who is joining the ninth Lord Mars, Venus. This is also a top tier Raja Yoga. It signals a year where your purpose and your actions align. People are going to see you, recognize your authority, and respect your hustle. Then there is the Dana Yoga. Mercury, which rules your second house of liquid assets and your 11th house of gains, is joining the Sun, the Ascendant Lord. This is pure wealth generating yoga. Because of all of this is happening in the fifth house, the wealth energy is focused on creativity, children, speculation, and your hobbies. If you have been procrastinating on a creative project, 2026 says it's go time. If you are into the stock market or gambling, be wise. Regardless, the stars are leaning in your favor. And since most Leos are naturally creative anyway, it's kind of your thing, huh? You're going to find that your ventures start reaping some very real, very tangible rewards. Now let's look at the great benefic Jupiter. Jupiter rules your fifth and eighth houses and starts the year retrograde in your 11th house of gains and social networks. When the 8th lord goes into the 11th and turns retrograde, Jupiter here wants to purify your network circle. You might notice your contact list shrinks this year, but don't panic. You are simply getting rid of people who are no longer serve your highest good. Then expect a transformation in how you make money. One source might dry up, but another, likely more aligned with your soul, will begin. It's a prime time to hunt for a new job or launch that business you have been waiting on. Retrograde Jupiter in the 11th often brings back the old ones that got away. And I mean friends, not just exes. Expect long lost friends to pop back into your life and out of the blue. Remember that old hobby you put off on the shelf years ago? Yes, Jupiter is bringing it back to life this time. Don't just do it for fun, do it for money, says Jupiter. If you've been wondering if you can turn your passion into a business, the universe is giving you a giant yes. Saturn is sitting in your 8th house, ruling your 6th and 7th. Now, the 6th lord in the 8th creates Viparita Raja Yoga. It's like that minus times a minus equals a plus kind of situation. Therefore, it is a great time for clearing off debts. If you have been carrying financial baggage, this is the year you finally paid off and breathe. However, keep your guard up. 8th house energy can be tricky. It can trigger sudden arguments or unexpected expenses that might tempt you to borrow more. So stay disciplined. Finally, let's talk about the Rahu Ketu axis. Your partner is going through a major transformation. Rahu can be a bit dark, so your partner might be dealing with some intense personal stuff. It could be metamorphical, like a dark night of the soul, or it could be a literal situation like being stuck in a power outage for extended period. So if they are in testing times, give the support they need. Then Ketu is sitting in your head. Leo, this is all about physical transformation. You might look in the mirror and decide it's time for a new me, whether it's hitting the gym, a total diet overhaul, or building muscle. You are literally shedding your old skin this year. Now mark your calendar for March 13th. This is a pivotal day for two reasons. First, Jupiter, the planet of expansion and blessings, finally turns direct in your 11th house of Gemini. After months of internalizing and filtering your social circles, the energy finally starts moving outward again. But at the same time, we have some very loud energy happening in your 7th house. We are talking about a heavy conjunction of Mars, Rahu, Mercury, and the Sun creating a stellium in your house of partnerships. For the next few months, your entire world is going to revolve around the other. Whether that's a spouse, a long term partner, or a business associate, the focus is 100% on relationships. With your 7th Lord and Venus sitting in the 8th house, this is a make or break time for business ventures. You might bring in a new partner who changes the direction of your company, or an existing partnership might undergo a total metamorphosis. It's deep, it's intense, and it's non negotiable. To be honest, having three malefics like Mars, Rahu, and the Sun in your 7th house is a lot of heat. This can create a pressure cooker environment. You might feel a shorter fuse than usual. So, my advice, refrain from starting arguments. Even if you're right, the energy right now is so volatile that a small spark could lead to a wildfire. The saving grace here is Jupiter. From the 11th house, Jupiter casts a wide protective aspect on your 7th house. Think of it as a cosmic mediator that helps smooth over the confrontations and prevents things from failing apart completely. Now, here's the interesting part. Because Jupiter is turning direct in Punarvasu Nakshatra, which literally means becoming good again or return of the light, we are seeing a theme of second chances. An old relationship or even a past life connection could suddenly re emerge. If an ex partner pops back into your life during this time, it's not just casual, hey, how are you doing kind of a thing. This time, the connection is likely to take on a much more serious tone. You'll have the chance to sort out the old issues and move on to a new level of commitment. Jupiter is essentially saying, let's try this again, but let's do it right this time. Whether it's a business deal or a romantic bond, the following months are about ascending and growing. Just remember to breathe through the Mars Rahu intensity and let Jupiter handle the heavy lifting for your growth. Moving on to the summer, we hit one of the most significant astrological events of the year. On June 2nd, Jupiter leaves Gemini and enters Cancer, where it becomes exalted. For you, Leo, this is happening in your 12th house. Now, usually the 12th house makes people nervous because it is the house of loss and expenses. But wait, on the very same day, we have a beautiful alignment in your 11th house of gains. Venus, your 10th lord, and Mercury, your 2nd and 11th lord, are conjunct. This is a green light yoga for your professional life. If you have been hunting for a new job or a promotion, use this window of time wisely. This alignment makes the hiring process feel easy. Doors that were previously locked might be swing open. If you are looking to increase your income, this is the time to negotiate or sign those new contracts. Now let's talk about the exalted Jupiter in your 12th house, where it will stay until October 30th. Because Jupiter rules your 8th house and is sitting in the 12th, we have another Viparita Raja Yoga. Here, how this play out over the 5 months. You will likely see sudden or unexpected expenses. However, because of this yoga, these aren't bad expenses. We are talking about hospital bills or accidents. Think more along the lines of a large donation to a temple, a high end spiritual retreat, or an investment that takes a temporary dip but serves a higher purpose. As a ruler of your 5th house, the house of hobbies and passions, Jupiter's move into the 12th can create a dip in your creative drive. You might feel a sudden loss of interest in the projects that excited you back in January. If you're using your hobbies professionally, be careful not to lose your momentum. You might feel a change of heart. Instead of quitting, use this energy to pivot and bring a fresh, more soulful perspective to your work. But here's the good news for your bank account. From 12th house, Exalted Jupiter is casting a powerful aspect on your 6th house of deaths and diseases, and your 6th lord Saturn, who is still staying in the 8th house. So if you didn't manage to clear your debts earlier this year, the universe is giving you a massive assist now. You might even receive help from unexpected sources, like a tax refund, an inheritance, or a random gift that allows you to wipe the slate clean. Jupiter in the 12th is all about letting go, and there's nothing better to let go of than a high interest loan. As we hit midsummer, the energy shifts from outward expansion to inward reflection. On July 26th, Saturn goes retrograde in your 8th house, and he is going to stay that way until December 10th. Now, pay attention to this day because the planetary snapshot is beautiful. The Sun, your ruler, is conjunct an exalted Jupiter in the 12th, and Venus is hugging Ketu right in your ascendant. So, for the next 137 days, the universe is essentially handing you a self care pass. This is a prime window for foreign travel, whether it's a long overdue vacation to a distant land or simply finding peace by staying at home. You're going to be indulging in physical pleasures that nourish your soul. With Venus and Ketu on your Lagna, your self image is going through a massive overhaul. You're going to start seeing yourself in a much more beautiful, compassionate light. If you are struggling with low self esteem or felt invisible lately, this period is going to be your glow up period, both inside and out. You're not just changing your look, you are changing how you value yourself. Saturn might be retrograde, but he is not sitting idle. From the 8th house, he is aspecting Mars in your 10th house of career. So if you aren't happy with your current work, you'll find a sudden burst of drive to find something you are actually passionate about. If you're already in your dream job, expect to feel a second wind. You'll be working harder and performing better than ever. But here's the warning: Saturn is also aspecting the moon in your 5th house. This creates what I call the illusion of choice. You might suddenly feel like you need to start 5 different side hustles or turn every single hobby into a revenue stream. You will feel compelled to diversify your energy everywhere. But I advise you, don't do it. Practice discernment. If you try to juggle 5 projects at once, you are going to drop all of them and fail in your attempts. This is not the time for diversification. So pick 1 or 2 high value projects and put your heart into those. Always remember, quality over quantity. Finally, a bit of stability for the home front. While earlier in the year felt like a roller coaster for your partner, this retrograde Saturn actually helps stabilize them. You will become the anchor they need in the life. They also will become the anchor of the relationship, more grounded, more practical, and more focused on the long term reality of the life together. It's a great time to build a solid foundation while you are busy with your personal transformation. As we move on to the final stretch of 2026, we hit a massive milestone. On October 31st, Jupiter leaves the 12th house and enters Leo, your first house, your ascendant. He'll be joining Ketu there for the remainder of the year. And let me tell you, the vibe shift is going to be legendary. For the last few months, you have been doing the heavy lifting, working on your psyche, clearing debts, and transforming. Now, as the fifth lord, the rod of joy and intelligence sits right in your head, your first house, you're going to feel a sense of lightheartedness you haven't felt in a long time. You're finally going to exhale. All that stress about ambition and making it will take a backseat. You become the happy go lucky person everyone loves. You will find yourself taking life a lot less seriously, which ironically is when the best things start to happen. If you have children, expect them to become your best friends during this time. They'll want to hang out, share their world with you, and just be in your energy. It's a beautiful time for bonding. Remember that physical transformation we talked about earlier? This is the peak. With Jupiter and Ketu in the first, your discipline regarding your body reaches a new level. You might find it surprisingly easy to cut out sugar or sweets. If you have been aiming for a caloric deficit or a specific weight loss goal, the stars are literally handing you the willpower. You are shedding the old skin and stepping into a leaner, meaner, and more radiant version of yourself. On the very same day, Jupiter enters your sign. We have another powerhouse alignment. Retrograde Mercury, the Sun, retrograde Venus are all conjunct in your third house. Third house is the house of effort, communication, and your own hands. This 62-day window is to the end of the year is perhaps the most creative period of 2026. If you have ever wanted to pick up a paintbrush, design a line of clothing, or write a music, this is your moment. The retrograde energy here doesn't mean slow, it means deep. You are reaching into your past inspiration to create something timeless. If you're an entrepreneur or thinking of launching a venture, the end of the year looks incredibly lucrative. For those of you who already own a business, expect your sales to spike. Your pitch is going to be magnetic, and your efforts are finally going to translate into those 11th house gains we have been talking about all year. Just when you thought the year couldn't get any more intense, we have a major shift in the karmic notes. On November 25th, Rahu moves into Capricorn and Ketu enters Cancer for Leo natives. This moves them into 6th and 12th house axis. If you know your Vedic astrology chart, you know this arguably is one of the best placement for these two. Rahu is a rebel and a fighter, and 6th house is the house of obstacles, debts, and enemies. When you put a shadowy planet like Rahu here, he performs brilliantly because he is in an Upachaya house. You are going to feel an incredible surge of courage. Have you felt like people have been talking behind your back, or maybe there's been a hidden obstacle you couldn't quite put your finger on? With this shift, your intuition becomes a superpower. You will spot the talebearers and the deceivers from a mile away. So, this is a time for the total destruction of your enemies and obstacles. If someone tries to stand in your way in late November, they are going to regret it. You are simply too sharp and too bold to be held back. Now let's talk about the jackpot energy. On the very same day, on November 25th, Mars, the Yoga Karaka for Leo, moves into your ascendant to join Jupiter. In Vedic terms, this is a conjunction of the fifth lord and the ninth lord. This is a classic Lakshmi Yoga, the yoga of wealth, fortune, and divine grace. Usually, I tell people to work hard and be practical. But with the Lakshmi Yoga happening right in your first house, Leo, the luck of the draw is officially on your side. I'm not saying you should betting on the house, but maybe grab a lottery ticket or take that calculated risk you have been dreaming about. The probability of a win, whether it's financial or a massive life opportunity, is at all-time high during this window. While Rahu is out there fighting your battles in the 6th house, Ketu is finding his home in the 12th house of moksha. This balances your material success with deep spiritual insights. You might find yourself having a very vivid dreams or sudden interest in meditation. You are winning the outer wall and the inner peace at the same time. As we move on to the final days of December, the last major gear in the cosmic clock clicks into place. On December 11th, Saturn finally ends his long retrograde journey and turns direct in your 8th house of Pisces. Remember how we talked about your partner going through a heavy transformation and a darkness period earlier this year? Well, that fog has officially lifted. Your partner has finished their internal overhaul. They aren't guessing anymore. They are clear on who they are, where they stand, and most importantly, where this relationship is heading. Gone is the pressure cooker energy of the spring. You can expect much clearer communication and a level of cooperation that might have been missing for months. You are ending the year on a stable, grounded note with the people who matter most. Leo, this year is nothing short of a metamorphosis for you. You started with a high octane wealth yogas, move through a deep cleansing of your social and romantic life, and end the year with a Lakshmi Yoga and a brand new physical self. You are shedding the old, heavy skin of the past and stepping into the 2027 as a leaner, wealthier, and much more light-hearted version of yourself. So that's all for now for my Leo moons and Leo ascendants. If this reading resonated with you, or if you are excited about the end of the year luck, comment below and let me know what you think. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel to keep up with the cosmic updates. I'm Dave, and I'll see you all in the next one.